Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching all the shows that I've been putting up. I've been having some great email conversations with many of you, and we've been discussing Gurdjieff, Steiner. I know I've got a very mixed bag of videos on my channel, but I like lots of things. And I think there's many paths to the divine. I have some people that say to me, who do you prefer, Steiner or Gurdjieff? Well, I suppose my allegiance is to Gurdjieff, because he changed my life completely. And I think he had a fantastic understanding and a way of putting across, really is difficult, what we're supposed to be doing in our lives. Whereas Steiner, for me, I persevered, is the word I'm going to use, with Steiner for many, many years, kept wondering, why am I reading this stuff? I just don't get it. And then one year it all suddenly clicked for me. And now I see Steiner more from a esoteric point of view, in that he's helped me with my understanding of Christ consciousness, working with the angels or Archangel Michael, the whole battle between good and evil, darkness and light, and the future of the evolution of humanity. Whereas Gurdjieff's helped me to live in this life. Though he also talks about esoteric stuff. He says it's an esoteric Christianity or an esoteric version of whatever faith you come from. And both of them, I'm sure, are united in wanting to be in union with the divine source. And that both of them were trying to show us how to work with the divine, how to live with the divine and put the divine in our lives, and then be part of the divine work. Gurdjieff's constantly talking about cosmic laws and such like. And then if we can align to them and be part of the harmony of the continuing maintenance of the universe, then we are working with the divine, and we will then find more satisfaction with our own lives and be a real person, rather than the mechanical programmed person that we normally are in our everyday lives when we're not working on ourselves. And I feel that both of them were helping to teach us how to be in union with the divine. And I know they say, as many religions say, that we're all united, we're all part of a whole, but at the same time we are individuals. Like you are you walking around the planet, I am me walking around the planet doing my thing. But that's our diversity, which is going to come up in the quotes that I've chosen for today's show, because I was looking up ways to explain union and unity. And so we've got a lot of In Search of the Miraculous I'm going to read from. I found a set of pages from Ouspensky, so it's obviously, but this is what he's learning from Gurdjieff. And well, I'll just start with this from In Search of the Miraculous. One of the most central ideas of objective knowledge is the idea of unity of everything, of unity in diversity. From ancient times, people who have understood the content and meaning of this idea and have seen in it the basis of objective knowledge have endeavoured to find a way of transmitting this idea in a form comprehensive to others. So when I was talking about Gurdjieff and Steiner earlier, they're putting it forward in the way they think they're being comprehensive to certain people. And as I was saying, Steiner I persevered with and then came to later of actually understanding him. And another example is with Maurice Nicoll. I was given his books many, many years ago, but when I started reading them, they just didn't work for me, didn't do anything. And I continued with Gurdjieff and Ouspensky, and then I came back to Maurice Nicoll only a few years ago, and suddenly it was totally new. I suddenly got what Nicoll was talking about, and I find them books so valuable now. I'm so pleased that I have them, that I can read them, dip into them. I hope to do more Maurice Nicoll readings at some time, recordings. So you might find, right, I'm struggling with this, whatever you're reading at the time or looking into. So maybe try something different and then come back to it. because everything in a way is united in union. There's many different paths to the divine source. You know, are you looking at how to work in this world at the moment? Or how are you looking at how to work if the divine cosmos? What stage are you at? You know, these are things you have to think about, because it's lots of different things going on, which then all unite together, like the working with the cosmic harmony of the universe, or the laws that are going on, working with yourself to get through this rat race of a life that we're caught up in. As Gurdjieff says, this is a lunatic asylum and we're trying to make our way through it, which is why I found Gurdjieff's writings incredible. They really helped me understand why I struggled so much with, you know, the outside world, and how I was being a fake person when really I want to be a real person, the real me, the real I, so that I can do the cosmic, be part of the cosmic universe and the laws and the hierarchies and everything that's working to do the right thing. Let me carry on, because I'm sort of waffling there. Right. So I've done. The idea had to be to put in such forms as would ensure its proper perception by others and avoid in its transmission the possibility of distortion and corruption. For this purpose, the people to whom the idea was being transmitted were required to undergo a proper preparation, and the idea itself was put either into a logical form or into religious teachings which endeavoured to create an element of faith and to evoke a wave of emotion carrying people up to the level of objective consciousness. You know, so how are you feeling about doing this kind of work? You know, are you wholeheartedly in it? When we're working in this kind of thing, we do a bit of the work, but we need to be working with all our centres. So when you get a new piece of knowledge, to turn it into wisdom, it needs to be digested, to be pondered on, you know, and your intellectual, emotional and your physical body need to work upon it to make it into the wisdom that will then develop inside you and start making sense, and then you can use it. You have the ability to go forward with it, and then you'll find that other bits of work that you've worked on, that you've sorted out, will start coming together too, and then that fits with that and this fits with that, kind of like a jigsaw. Going back about Steiner, all them books that I've been reading on Steiner that I hadn't quite understood were all bits of the jigsaw, but when I had my Tada moment, I began to see the picture, the whole picture. And then I began to see deeper into the picture and see the inner pictures inside them pictures and so on. And it was taken further along on the path. So with objective consciousness, it's just possible to see and feel the unity of everything, and that we're all united together, even though we're all individuals. We want to work on ourselves so that we can be part of the divine harmony, and the laws and the mechanicalness of everything is switched off, and instead we're working with the flow of everything. When you're not working with the flow of everything, you're disconnected from it all, and then you're caught up in the mechanical ways of everyday life that people are doing, that aren't looking at this kind of work, that are just living their lives with no urge to develop themselves. And I'm sure you're watching this show because you've got the urge to develop yourself and go forwards and upwards. So carrying on with Ouspensky, so he's going to be talking now about all the symbolism and different ways of looking at things. And so these are on the pages of 278 in my Search the Miraculous onwards to 284. There's like a whole section on unity. So Ouspensky writes, for a man who understands the unity of everything existing and who has the key to this unity, the method of theosophical addition has profound meaning, for it resolves all diversity into the fundamental laws which govern it and which are expressed in the numbers 1 to 10. Now, I've done shows recently with Tony on the Enneagram and Josh on the Enneagram. So Gurdjieff's obviously coming from the Enneagram point of view of the 1 to 10. We've got the triangle, 3, 6, 9, and then 2, 4, 8, 5, 7, 1. You know, it's all going round. When you start understanding this and seeing that pattern happening in the symbolism, you know, we don't want patterns in our lives. We're trying to break patterns, but we want to see the patterns in the symbolism of the esoteric work that's out there for us to learn from. We start seeing the processes working in us and outside and become part of it. And with numbers, like I have people saying to me, oh, today I saw lots of twos. You know, it's great learning about numbers. If you're seeing lots of twos today, go and look up the symbology and the meaning to the number 2, because there's probably a message there for you. Or if it's 4, you know, 7, any of the numbers 1 to 9 have a specific meaning. If you keep seeing 15s everywhere, you know, 1 and 5 is 6. So you go back and look up number 6s. And hopefully they will have messages for you that will make sense. Obviously, double numbers are important, 11, 22, 33, and so on. Maybe I'll do a show on them one day. Very special, magical numbers. But 3 is the magic number, and the law of 7. Well, they're all magic numbers in their own way. They all have a specific meaning to them. So Ouspensky goes on. In the Kabbalah, a symbology of letters is also used, and a symbology of words. There exists also a symbology of magic, one of alchemy, one of astrology, as well as the system of the symbols of the tarot, which unites them into one whole. Each one of these systems can serve as a mean for transmitting the idea of unity. So whatever you're looking at, whether it's Kabbalah, astrology, tarot, as he says, runes, a bit of runic magic, and so forth, or the magic of words and writing. If you can put a meaning to it and start understanding the symbolism behind it, not the mundane esoteric meaning, but the esoteric meaning, it will start speaking to you and meaning something to you. But it all takes knowledge as well. You need to look these things up and learn the different subjects, let's say. It's like a degree. You have to do all these different subjects to do your one whole degree at the end, so that you understand the whole system and it all comes together in a unity. And Ouspensky goes on, any attempt to understand literally where speech deals with objective knowledge and with the union of diversity and unity is doomed to failure. It often happens that exact knowledge concerning details communicated to a man before he has acquired an understanding of the essential nature of a thing makes it difficult for him to understand this essential nature. So we've got to learn, and get the wisdom from it. Experience is another important thing, part of your learning process. We're going forward to learn as much as we can and turn it into wisdom. Exact definitions do exist, but they differ very greatly from what we usually think them to be. You know, like we have scientists telling us this means that, and historians telling us this is this, happened in this time. But there's a lot more going on than just what they have to say. You know, it's not just one subject. Scientists only look at things from a scientific point of view. Historians only look at things from a historic point of view. Biologists only look at it from a biological point of view. Us on this wonderful path want to put the whole lot together. We need to, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. We are going to be masters, but we need to look at everything and see how it all fits together, because it's unity. He will not attain knowledge until he makes the necessary efforts, and only of himself and only by his own efforts can he attain what he seeks. I can't remember if I've said this already, but I've said it in other shows. The age of Pisces was the teachers coming to give us all the knowledge. The age of Aquarius, which is happening now, is us going forward with that knowledge to use that came from the teachers from before. You know, we have to work on ourselves. Sorry, my doorbell went, so I have to go and answer that. No one can ever give him what he did not possess before. No one can do for him the work he should do for himself. All that another can do for him is to give him the impetus to work. And from this point of view, symbolism, properly perceived, plays the part of an impetus of this kind for our knowledge. So we need to go and study symbolism of, from all these esoteric works, and also, symbolism's in plain sight. It's out there. You'll start noticing it everywhere once you start looking into all this kind of thing. It's incredible. Every process, no matter on what scale it takes place, is completely determined in its gradual development by the law of the structure of the 7-tone scale. Every note, every tone, if taken on another scale, is again a whole octave. The intervals between me and fa, and between si and do, which require an outside shock, outside help, connect by this very fact, one process with other processes. And that's true when you're doing the Enneagram, you're noticing the processes in your life of the Enneagram going round. You start something, it's all going okay, and then something happens, which is called the first shock, to distract you from doing this, to see whether you really want to do it. You will persevere, and if you don't, you just leave it. But if you persevere, carry on round, and you'll continue doing it along the Enneagram, and then another shock will come in, and this time it's normally something to help you, hopefully, to continue on to the next stage or to the next part of the cycle that you're going round on. And that will then take you on to the next stage. We've got do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And then it goes into another do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. And so on and so on. But many people, when that first shock comes, which is the deciding one of, do I want to do this? Or shall I just give it up? Go either way. You either do it or you don't. And that's very decisive, very important on the decision that you make. I'm not saying that everything you do, you have to continue with. There's some things that are going to happen in your life. And you think like, I really don't want this anymore. Like a bad relationship or something. You're being given that first chance to get out of it and go and find harmony in your life. But when you're doing this work, it's to test you to see whether you really feel that you're wanting to do it. And then it proves whether you're worthy enough to do it. And if you are, then the next stage, on the next shock, there'll be someone there or something there to help you. From this, it follows that the law of octaves connects all processes of the universe, and to one who knows the scales of the passage and the laws of the structure of the octave, it presents the possibility of an exact cognition of everything and every phenomenon in its essential nature, and of all its interrelations with phenomena and things connected with it. And everything is connected. And we have to find them connections and put them together. It's not just the Enneagram, you've got your Kabbalah, the Kabbalah tree of life that goes up. We're trying to go up it to ascend to the divine. The amount of Kabbalists I meet that start from the top and go down, well, that's keeping you to the material earth, because at the bottom of the Kabbalah tree is Malkuth, earth. If you're doing this work, hopefully you're trying to ascend and not descend. But each to their own. And I was going to finish with Gurdjieff's words himself, from Views from the Real World. And Gurdjieff says it all here about unity. So Gurdjieff says, I wish to speak about the overall unity of all that exists, about unity and multiplicity. It is necessary to feel with your being the absolute truth and immutability of the unity of the laws governing the universe. And when you start doing this work, you then do start realizing, no, there is more to all this. It's like you're lifting the veil so that you can see behind it and see the secret workings of everything. And that's why it's esoteric and occult. So that's coming out now. Things aren't as esoteric and occult as they used to be, because we're needed. We're in a, like in end times, we're in a change for humanity. This is a pivotal point for humanity. And hopefully you're watching this because you want to go forward. By analogies, he passed from the little ordinary happenings in the life of an individual to the great cycles in the life of mankind. Then from mankind to the life of the earth. The inevitable conclusion of all that he said was the great law of tri-unity, the law of free. Resting on the solid foundations of the earth and armed with this law, he applied it to the whole solar system. And that's what we're trying to be part of the harmonious workings of the whole system, and to do the work for the divine, his endlessness, and be united with, you know, the God, the divine source, and the divine source connection that's in you. So may we all be united together. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.